Hey, welcome to the Summit Host Hangout podcast, where you'll learn how to host a high-converting virtual summit that leads to your biggest signature offer launch yet. I'm your host, Krista from Summit in a Box, and today I've got an episode that originally came as a result of a quick story I'll share, but it turned into the perfect way to segue into something fun we've got coming up next week, so I had to go with it. But let's start with the little story. So I run a lot of Facebook ads. You'll actually hear me talk about in this episode why Facebook ads are a big part of our strategy, but I get a lot of angry comments from people on those ads for various reasons, but something I get a lot are people giving me a hard time for running ads when I'm teaching that summits work so well. It's basically, oh, well, if summits work so well, why am I seeing this ad? You know, why are you running ads if summits are as great as you say, right? It just drives them nuts. And I did finally comment back to a couple, which at least chilled those people out. But I thought it would be good to talk about why I don't rely on one marketing strategy. And of course, I'll share it in a way that will help you consider what's best for you too. So we're going to cover why I don't rely on just summits to grow and sustain my business and why I own that and stand by that. We'll talk about why I'm not convinced that it's good for anyone to rely on just one thing, no matter what their area of expertise is. And then we'll talk about how I found what is currently like my happy mix of strategies and how you can do the same if you feel like you're still kind of trying to figure it out. And I know some of you are already there, but I want to make sure to give some tips for anyone who isn't. So also just like a disclaimer before we go into this, I'm not at all claiming that my way or my mix of strategies is the way. It's what works for me. And that's what I'm going to share. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about why I don't just rely on summits. Why aren't summits my only thing if I teach about them being so great? The main reason is I would not enjoy it. I straight up would not like it. Some people can do back-to-back summits all year long. I have several students who have done quarterly summits for years, and that is all they do to generate revenue and leads and everything for their business. But I just can't do that. I can't get done with one summit and turn right around and put the energy back into it again. For me, it's like the speaker outreach. Like I'm so genuine about my speaker outreach and the connections, and I truly want to make lasting connections with those people. I just can't do it back to back to back. I can't. And because I don't have the capacity to enjoy hosting summits constantly, I need something else to keep my momentum and revenue up. Could I run like a tiny business where I run one summit a year and that's all I do? I guess that's just not how I do things, right? I want a bigger business than that. And that means I need something else in the mix. So summits are my main overall momentum tool and strategy for connecting with other people. And they're also a big part of our revenue strategy and building our list. But with only doing a summit every year or two, I need more revenue and list building strategies that work for me. All right. So that's why I don't rely on just summits. As for why I don't think anyone should rely on just one thing, let's get into that next. So personally, I just love trying out all kinds of different strategies. So over the past year or two, we've done summits, challenges, paid conferences, paid workshop, free bundle, Facebook ads, evergreen stuff. I'm sure there's more. Those are just the things I came up with off the top of my head. And so even though I teach summits, I do a lot. And part of that is because I just like trying new things and changing it up. But another big part of it is that I want to be able to speak from a place of experience. I know a lot of people look to me for a bit of a marketing brain and things like that. And I don't want to just make stuff up and guess. So when someone comes to me, even specifically for summits, and asks me if it's a good time for them to host a summit or if they should do something else, I want to give them an accurate answer. I'm not going to just blindly say a summit is best for someone just because it might make me some money, right? I've been on sales calls with people many times and said, actually, I don't think this is a good move for you right now. And I will continue to do that. Okay. But I can't speak to other strategies from a place of experience if I don't try those things first. So that's kind of my reasoning behind it. But as for everyone else, I'm just not convinced that there's anyone teaching something that could be their only strategy. A summit really is the only thing I can think of that's a full funnel all in one thing. And I do know people who host a summit, like I said, every quarter, and it's their only growth and monetization strategy. But I don't think that's realistic for most people. And I can't think of any other strategy outside of a summit that can serve as that full funnel. You should totally DM me if you have something else, because I have never been able to identify anything else. you can rely mostly on Facebook ads for growing your audience, but you still need a launch strategy. And with any launch strategy, you need a list building or visibility strategy. So everyone needs to rely on more than just one thing. One, to just continue enjoying business, I feel like, but also because a summit is really the only thing that fills all the boxes that are needed to have a well-functioning funnel. So let's talk about how to find your perfect mix of strategies. And I'm going to start with mine, and I wish I had a really impressive answer and formula for how I strategically went about this, but really it was trial and error. That's all it was. After years of doing all kinds of stuff, I finally noticed the pattern that my business needed. Like every year or two, it needs something big. For me, that's going to be a summit. Between summits, I do need ways to make money from my existing audience, to serve my existing audience, to teach them, to invite them into my offers. And I've tried a lot of things, but for me, the thing I go to again and again is usually challenges. Maybe occasionally a paid event if I just really want to try something new, but challenges are really my go-to because I know that they work and it's rinse and repeat for us at this point. They're just like a perfect complement to summits. And then I do need something else to grow my audience between summits since I don't do them super often. So for us, we rely on Facebook ads and just like other collaborations. So being in bundles, being in other people's summits and things like that. Those are the two primary list growth methods that we use. So at the core, it's summits and challenges that we just repeat again and again. And we're supplementing those things with a couple list building strategies that I like. So that's how I did it. And I want you to look for your mix too, if you have not done that yet. So I have a couple steps you can kind of think through and follow and see how far it gets you. But I would say step one is getting clear on the goals of different types of strategies. So you know what to pull from when you realize your business needs something. Right? And I think people get so confused about the purpose of different types of events. They think webinars, challenges, paid events are going to grow their email list. They think summits are just for visibility. They think bundles are going to make them $1 million. Like people either just don't pay attention or they don't understand the goals of a lot of different strategies they're using. And I didn't used to understand either. When I started hosting challenges, you'll hear this in a free training about challenges I'm hosting next week. I started hosting challenges because I thought they were going to build my list. It took me years to be like, oh, wait. That's actually not what those are for. There's literally no list building strategies built into a challenge. Like you need ads on top of it or affiliates or things like that. So like really you need to understand the goals of the different strategies that there are. So to give you some examples, webinars are to make sales from your existing audience. Video series, a challenge, a paid conference, all of those, sales from your existing audience plus some engagement. A bundle is for list growth. A paid bundle, I don't even know, to be honest. I think people claim list growth and revenue. I have not seen much proof of that. JV webinar are for list growth and sales. Summit does literally everything. Facebook ads can be added to most strategies to add a list growth component to them or use on their own for list growth and things like that. So just know the purpose of the different strategies that you're using and just like run it through your own filter when someone says that a strategy is going to do something for you. If someone says that running webinars is going to grow your email list, you think about how that's going to be possible. It's not going to happen on its own. You either need to be putting a ton of time and effort into growing your social media accounts so that your list is growing from there. You need to be running ads. You need to bring on dedicated affiliates. It is hard to get affiliates to promote a webinar, by the way. Like run it through your own filter and know what the strategies are going to do for your business. Okay. Then once you know that, start experimenting. Okay, so like if you're listening to this podcast, I'd be willing to bet that summits are a part of your strategy or will be, and that you might be looking for something to continue monetizing your summit audience and other existing audience between your events. And challenges are really perfect for that. Like there are definitely other strategies, but challenges are so easy to put together. You can rinse and repeat once you host one, they're engaging and they work. And I talked about how I use summits and challenges together in the last episode. So you can go back and listen to that if you missed it. But I'm also hosting a live strategy session next week to share how I use challenges to make an extra 6 figures per year between summits. So I am sharing all of the numbers, details, successes, failures, everything around the 12 challenges I've hosted. And then I'm also announcing a new program at the end. Spoiler alert. So you can sign up for that at summitinabox.co/challenge-strategy. It's going to be good. I'm excited to give a behind the scenes and I'm not holding a whole lot back. So come ask your questions, make me dish the the good stuff. So I hope this episode was helpful. If anyone, thinks I'm terrible for doing more than just summits, I hope this clears it up for you. And I hope it also has your wheels turning about what kinds of strategies can be at the core of your business model, strategies that will feel good for you and grow and sustain your business. So thank you so much for tuning into this episode. For show notes and resources mentioned, head to the link in the episode description wherever you're listening. And for now, go out and take action to plan, strategize, and launch your high converting virtual summit.